Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to LRC. We are here today in Portimão for round 3 of the Tier 1 Championship. My name is Corliss, and thankfully, I will be joined once again in the commentary box by Spinato.
Hello. It's good to be back. I've missed the last two races. I've missed the excitement of LRC, but it's I'm ready again to see the thrill that Tier 1 brings with itself. And here we are today in Portugal, quite an exotic track as we prepare for I think it's round 4 of the season.
Yeah, it will be round 3, round 4, depends how you count it. We did have the sprint race last time, of course, so it was 2 races, but I think officially we are calling it round 3 as everybody starts to make their way out onto the track now for the start of qualifying. It is back to the normal format this weekend with no more sprint races, just the regular 18-minute qualifying session and then the race straight up afterwards. And well, last week it was once again a predictably entertaining and also very chaotic race around Jeddah. It was to be expected, really. That's sort of what we were all anticipating going into it, with Jeddah being such a tight circuit with walls right up next to the track and high-speed corners everywhere, which the drivers, to be fair to them, they did for the most part negotiate pretty well. It was clean for the majority of the actual race, and then in the sprint race as well we had absolute chaos with the drivers just basically pack racing for almost the entire race. We had literal 3 wide moments of cars going, about 6 cars going down the straight all at once. I don't know how they were able to keep it clean for the most part, although there were a few incidents, but surprisingly, actually, no penalties fouled by the stewards after the race, so that was nice.
Well, I did miss Jeddah, sadly enough. I did notice there was daytime, which is quite unusual. Maybe that's what threw all the drivers off. We're usually expect nighttime in Jeddah, but yeah, from what I saw as a steward, a lot of tickets, lots of chaos, and I think that's basically the thing. Well, not the priority that I've missed, but I think it's one of the things that makes LRC sometimes just the chaos in some races. As we see someone's run at the last corner. But yeah, I think that's the thing I missed about LRC, and I'm glad to be back once again in the commentator box. As we see Lamaya's on his first hot lap behind the Ferrari.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of traffic there. He wasn't really able to space himself out. They were all bunching up towards the end of the lap through the last few corners around Sagres, and Lamar has unfortunately got himself a whole load of dirty air coming in from whoever that Ferrari is ahead. I think it might be, well, I'll hazard a guess that it's Cooper, but I could be wrong, don't hold me to that. Might be Kvyat Bana also. But yeah, making the way through this very high-speed sector of, well, it's a mix of high speed and low speed, really, this sector of the middle sector of the lap. And you can see the dirty air is not really doing Lamau any favours. He's almost having to pace himself to not go any quicker than the Ferrari, and that's really hampering his first flying lap here. I'm sure we'll be seeing quicker from him towards the end of the session, but that is what we would expect anyway, the track rubbering in and such things of that. And the first time's already starting to come in now, with Grim Reaper going quickest so far by 0.6 of a second to German Beat with a 1:17.6, although Frosty, who's in the Ferrari for this week, actually reserving there, jumps into second place, so nice effort by him, as Smalley and Williams can only manage 8th, and I Like Trains 9th behind him, and Lamano still manages to go second, so yeah, impressive time from him. He was somehow able to extract the most out of a lap where he was actually getting held up, but yeah, I would expect that second to turn into first as the session progresses.
I guess Lamar has considered the dirtier to be more of a toe.
Ooh, Red Bull had just gone round.
I'm not sure
who that was. Somebody towards the back of the field, I think, might have been Jarman or Ixies. It was Ixies, and he's now reversing down the track.
Oh god!
Just waiting for a gap in traffic. He's well clear of the racing line at the moment, so should be alright. He's just gonna wait for the next car to come through, is he now? He's got some space, so Ixies back up and running again. He did have a spin in Australia in qualifying as well, so hopefully not going to be a repeat of that one for him. He's had quite a miserable start to the season, really. Ixies, a driver who's shown himself to be pretty quick on previous games and on this game. Of course, he finished second in the F2 Championship a few months ago, but yeah, not been able to score any points so far, and he's had a highest finish of 18th, so yeah, speaks volumes. He's had quite terrible luck across the first 2 races, but a chance today to improve on that for him, hopefully.
I mean, start of the season doesn't mean much. Obviously, you want to hit the ground running, but I guess Iggy's was just. I'm guessing it was just bad luck for Iggy's. If he was caught up in some race incidents he had no control of. Obviously, you can't basically rely on a few results. I think Iggy's can put in the consistency and can put in the pace, but obviously, if you make just minor mistakes, just hinder your races and they keep on continuing. You have to iron out those mistakes and yeah, strive for more consistency as Iggy's should over the rest of the season, because ultimately that's what gets you the big points. I mean, you can win a race, then the DNF the next race, or you'll still be lower than the driver who finishes second every race. So yeah, I think so. I think Iggy's can show his true pace. Obviously, Portugal. His experience in Portugal, I remember racing with him in Light League. A bit of a chaotic race there back in Light League, but yeah, Coolest can actually say he was racing alongside me as well. But yeah, as what I know from Portugal, it's a very enjoyable track for me. The long corners, the ups and downs of the track really make it something that's like that really isn't replicated much on the Formula One calendar. It feels some Formula One drivers say it's kind of like a roller coaster. And let's see if it's going to be a roller coaster for some of our drivers as well. Maybe we'll see some different winners. Obviously, Grim Reaper with 2/10 advantage in the lead, but we're not going to hold him to that because Lamaya's obviously got hindered by that Ferrari on his first lap. So we're going to see some faster times. And look at that. Iggy sets the third fastest time with a 1:17.8. I told you Iggy was fast, and he's eager to show it.
Yeah, it was good luck by him, and just what you were saying before about drivers who will consistently take second place and such, being able to really accumulate a lot more points over the course of the season. Somebody who has been doing that is Anirudh in the Mercedes, the first of the Mercedes. He picked up both second places last time out in the sprint and the feature race, which has resulted in him being basically the only driver in any kind of contention to the top two in the championship of Le Mans and Ockram, and we can actually show you those championship standings now if we take a look at the driver standings here. So there you go, you can see Lamano leads the way with 49 points, only 4 points ahead of Ockram, so those two are locked into a battle already for this championship. But you can see Anirudh there up in third place, not too far behind, and still a reasonable threat in this championship, you would say, as well, with the likes of Afari. We can't write him out either because he's missed the first race, got back in for last race, and he's here again this week, and we know from season 3 that he's a very quick driver. Yeah, Max gone up in 4th place, doing very well so far this season on consistency, and we'll be looking to continue that here, and looking solid in the qualifying session so far, as it's sort of calmed down a little bit now, but I'd imagine this is very much the calm before the storm. Usually quite quiet through this sort of stage of the session in the middle, but then in the last few minutes everybody gets out, low fuel, the best grip on the track, and that is when the times start to really tumble.
Yeah, obviously the hardest part about Portugal is probably turn 1 for me. The invalidation point comes so early, you just waste an entire lap. Obviously, when it's early, you can abort the lap easier. You can save your fuel a bit more, but yeah, it's quite dangerous, and I'm guessing Lamaya's knows that, and he has to make it count. There's 5 minutes left in the session, and we've seen him make it count many different times before, especially in Bahrain in the preseason. When I was last here, at the very end, he said a blazing lap, a qualified Ockram, and I think why shouldn't he do that today? As Afari as well is going to be on an out lap, so I think we're going to see some blazing fast times from Grim as well, from Afari, as they've done their laps a bit earlier on in the session, but just to get a feel for what oversteer for Lamaya's, but yeah. As he crosses the line, I think we're gonna get a feel of what the improved track grip looks like on paper. So
here we go.
crosses
Where
the
will it
line
be?
now.
It will be predictably P1 for Lamau now. I don't think anybody's particularly surprised by that one. It wasn't the cleanest of laps, a little mistake towards the end there, but I think other than that it did seem quite nice. So definitely an improvement for him. I think he'll be a lot more comfortable with a 1:17.3 than he was with whatever time it was that had him in 6th place. So good stuff by him. But I think the drivers will still probably feel like they're able to put up some kind of a challenge to that. Even maybe some of the drivers who we wouldn't usually expect, like Grim Reaper and like Afari, who is of course back now. And well, is he starting a lap now? He's going very slowly if he was, so we'll have to wait and see. He's not going to get the best run down the start-finish streak, but we'll have a look and catch up on that one. I think Grim Reaper, though, I believe he is on a lap. We'll ride on board now. Looks to be up to full throttle, so making his way into the second sector now through this high-speed right-hander into a very low-speed and uphill right-hander of Samsung, turn 8. Very tricky corner there to get the traction right on the exit, but it looks like he's done a good job of that. He sweeps through this left-hander of Craig Jones up into Portimão, the turns 10 and 11 section of the track, then dipping back down the hill. It really is like a roller coaster, like you were saying before. And got quite close to the track limits, but looked like he just about stayed within them. So he goes into the last 2 corners of the lap now. First up, Sagres, quite a tricky right-hander, but you're able to really lay on the throttle on the exit. Just keep it within the track limits, but I think Grim might not have been able to do that there. It looked like he was just outside, so we'll see when he crosses the line if he is able to improve or not. As here he comes now out of the final corner. And yeah, no improvement for Grim, so I think he's thrown it all away there at the second to last corner, which, yeah, a bit reminiscent of what Max Verstappen did in the actual 2021 race there a few years ago. Lost the fastest lap to that one. And Grim Reaper loses what could have been the fastest lap here as well, as Shadow jumps ahead of Lamau to take provisional pole position in the Mercedes.
Yeah, that's Okram as well. He's not set a lap yet. He's down in P19, and Okram has to make it count. As now, I think that's Afari going through the last corner. Now he's going to cross the line. Is he going to make it into provisional pole?
Does not improve,
no,
but we did see that he was going very slowly at the start of this lap, so I wonder if this is his actual lap now. We'll check back in later to see if it is, but first of all I want to see where Okram is. He looks like he's into the final sector now as Ixies jumps back up into 3rd place in the Red Bull, so good time from him to set a 17.5, not too far off of the top 2 there, but here is Okram. This is the man that we really want to pay attention to here through the final corner. I believe this is a lap for him. As he heads towards the line now, what will Okram be able to do? Only 8th, so not a clean lap still, with only 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go in the session. I think he will just about have time to try and recharge his battery and go again if he's got the fuel for it. But yeah, high pressure situation now for Okram to try not to lose out too much to his title rival of Lamau.
Yeah, I think he ran out of ERS at the last corner. You see the light is blinking at the rear. It was blinking when he was going through the last corner, so I think he didn't have enough ERS as he started the lap and finished the lap with I guess below 10%, obviously, as the Mercedes goes into the pits there. But surprising for Miggsy there to P3.
Here comes Afari.
Afari, here comes Afari.
He goes pole, provisional pole for Afari. So he did look quick early in the session, and that is a very quick time as well. Goes a 10th quicker than Shadow there to be the first driver into the 1:17.1s, and with only 40 seconds to go, that could well be pole position for Afari. But here is Lamau making his way through the final corner. He's about to start his lap, so he is just about going to have time to do so, and he will have time to get one more run in here. He'll get a bit of a distant tow from the Haas up ahead of him. I think that might be Maxcon there. Oh, sorry, no, I think it's Lrc actually. And Lrc, speaking of Lrc, he's all the way down in P14, so difficult session for Lrc so far. He needs to get a good time in here on his final run, so a lot of drivers coming under quite intense pressure at the end of this qualifying session, with the nature of the track limits being around Portugal here being quite difficult to cope with, and I think that might be catching out a few of our drivers here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Grim here. I think Grim has the opportunity to go faster, but I don't know if he could save enough ERS or the fuel to go for another lap. And no, as you can see, the ERS line just blinking. I don't think Grim will improve, but I think I Like Trains also has the potential to go faster. As I say, he did. He goes P5 and finishes the session in P5. Grim finishes P6, couldn't go any faster. The Haas of Lars also is going to finish his lap, and now Lamar is trying to go faster. He's going to have One last slice of the cake, and is he gonna take it? I
Oh, and
think
Lrc
he is.
spun. Lrc just spun. And he retired from the
Oh,
section.
did
He
he?
just saw him at the top of the picture there. And Lrc spins off into the infield, and it is going to be P15 at best for Lrc. But Lamauno is still going here as he heads towards the line now. What can Lamauno do as he crosses the line? It's pole for Lamauno. No surprises there. Lamauno with another stunning lap time to jump up into first place. Really good stuff by him. Meanwhile, his title rival Okram in the pits will be starting from 8th place at best.
Yeah, a shocking session for Okram. You expect him to be faster than that, but like I said, those occasional mistakes will cost you if you keep on making them. If you don't pay attention. Oh, there's a bit of a race in the pit. Alfa Romeo on the Haas, reminiscent of China, where Sebastian Vettel overtook two cars. But yeah, it's probably very annoying for Okram as he couldn't just set that last lap time he needed. And he's had to pay for it. He's starting from P8, but Lamailles managed to do it once again. It was 40 seconds left, and started the lap at 40 seconds left, and he finished the lap basically in first. Afari also put up a good fight with Shadow and is Igzis starting in P4, which is, I mean, I would say it's quite surprising, given his lack of form, but. I know he's fast, and I think he could be a big contender in today's race.
So it's yeah, Lamauilles from Afari, from Shadow, and Igzis the top 4, and I like trains with a very impressive P5 in the Mercedes there. That's good stuff by him. And Grim Reaper gets up into P6 as well. That's his best qualifying of the season so far. And Maxcom, Mr. Consistent, once again up in P7. Good stuff from him, and beats out his teammate quite comfortably. Lrc down in P15 with that spin in his final lap. He'll be very upset with that one, no doubt. And Okram only 8th in the Williams. Germanby in behind him in P9, and the debutant of Blendy in the Alfa Romeo gets up into P10. Looks like we are getting ready to go already, and here we are. It's 3, 4, 5 red lights for round 3, and it's lights out, and we are go in Portugal. And who is getting the best eye? Looks like Afari was pretty quick in the first phase, but he's slow through the second phase, and Lamauno is going to lead into turn 1 as the Mercedes goes 3 wide in the background. It's Shadow just about able to hold on from his teammate as round goes one of the Alfa Romeos in the background there through the first few corners, and I'm not sure which of the Alphas that was, but dropping down the order right to the back of the field, it was Blondie, the debutant. That's very unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Okram going side by side, and somebody's off the track. That's Igzis. That's Igzis is off the track to turn 4. Big shame for him. That is not what he needed. He just was looking for some luck in this race. So they go 3 wide into turn 5. Everybody very close together on the start of this race. Smolly having a brilliant start, and the other Williams is going side by side now with Germanby through the middle sector, and Germanby on the outside of turn 8 looks like, well, they're still wheel to wheel. No clear winner has emerged yet. Smolly's going to have the inside now into Portimão corner, and it looks like Smolly is going to get that move done, but Germanby dives it back round the outside, already getting a really good taste of what the racing is going to be like in this race from these two, and it looks like Germanby is going to get the position sealed, but Smolly tries it up the inside. That was a bit too bold, and he might lose another position from that now to the Mercedes, but all the while up front, Lamauno keeps it clean with a perfect start to the race and leads the way at the end of lap 1.
Horrific start for Igzis. Spins it round out of turn 4. I think that was not what he wanted on those softs. What he imagined is him being P1 out of turn 1.
And
but
here comes Shadow.
that was a great battle.
Shadow into turn 1 is going to get P2 pretty easily there. The medium tyre advantage will make it quite easy for him against Afari, but Afari is trying to look for a move up the inside there, just sort of trying to fake out the Mercedes, but I think he's going to play the long game there, not going to try and fight it, but he is now going to be vulnerable to Maxcon in behind him, and Maxcon might already go for a move, but now he's also just making a bit of a fake out there, and Okram, decent start by him as they go, almost 3 wide in the background there. That would have been quite bold, but I think everybody quite sensibly backed out of that one, as still Smolly getting involved in the battles here, and he might look for a move up the inside of Lrc there, who's been able to recover really well from his poor qualifying at the start of this race, already up into 8th place, so good stuff by him in the Haas, finally finding a little bit of luck there. But yeah, it's some very exciting racing already at the start of this one, as the grid, or the field, tries to start to settle down now as we move on from the first couple of chaotic laps of the race.
Yeah, it was a big start from Loris. Loris from P15 up to P8, 7 places up on lap 1. Now he's got lap 2 to capitalize on the tire, basically on German beats. Is that German beat? Yeah. Wait, we're not even looking at Loris, are we? Oh, it's Maxcon that we're looking at right now. It's Afaria in front of him, and he's gonna capitalize on the toe that he has on Afari. He's gonna look for a move down the inside, but he doesn't make it. Just now, but he's gonna slot in behind. He's gonna try to look for a move under a hard braking zone, which is obviously turn 3 or later on turn 5.
Badly just
Yeah,
made a move there, but I think there's still moves going on up the field, and I think actually, yeah, Maxcon has he just lost a position now. He's still in behind the Alpine of Afari, but I was a little bit confused because Shadow has dropped that gap that he built up a little bit of a gap, but he seems to have lost it there. So I wonder if it was did see someone going off the track at turn 4. So I wonder if that might have been him. But he's definitely lost some time from that now because he was already within a second of Lamau. But that mistake could be very costly for the Mercedes driver, as he's now going to be giving DRS to well, the train of cars starting to form behind. As now you can see Okram there trying to hustle and harry the Haas of Maxcon there to try and get him out of the way. So you can see he's predictably going to be the quicker driver in that Williams after having a pretty shambolic qualifying session, but I don't think that means that he's out of the count for this race at all. Still going to have that same lightning pace, you would imagine, and he seems to be showing that already, as he is now right onto the back of Maxcon here as they exit the final corner. DRS will now be available, and Okram is going to use that to his advantage to pull to the inside. Both of them do have DRS, but Okram with that inside line into turn 1 is going to get the move done nicely. He does go off the track a little bit there, so he might pick up a warning for that one, but he's got the move done, and ooh, almost going very late onto the brakes and almost making contact with Afari ahead of him. But he might be lining up to move straight away here, though, because he got a good exit through turn 4. He's going to get the inside line. Afari tries to block, but it's too late, so Okram dives it up the inside. Is Afari going to be able to get the switchback? He is going to get the switchback, but who's got the better traction? Because of Okram with the tyre compound advantage, and he's going to use that to his advantage to get the move done, and makes it 2 moves at the start of lap 4. Nicely done.
Yeah, great move by Akram on Afari, who's looking for a podium. But what we didn't see, Shadow getting a 3-second time penalty, and Grim Reaper in P20. So I think he might have picked up some wing damage off of lap 1. But yeah, Grim's got his whole race ahead of him. Iggy's is out.
Ixis, there's been a collision there. Yeah, there's been a collision with the Alfa Romeo. That's into turn 9, I believe that is, and that is going to be the safety car deployed. No surprise there. Quite a big accident on the track. Not sure what happened there. Ixis was already down the order. He was around about P16, but a collision with the new driver Blondie in the Alfa Romeo, and Ixis. Well, you've got a feel for him. The bad luck just continues. Just as it was starting to look up for him in LRC, he gets taken out on the 4th lap of this race, and once again, it's going to be no points for the Polish driver. That's a huge shame for him.
Could have been another example of the commentator's curse, praising his qualifying performance and talking about his recent form, obviously not being the best, and it struck again. Iggy's in P20 on that Mercedes, kind of sliding through. As Denzel and Jarman pits, I think they're pitting for a new front wing. I wouldn't imagine they would go for new tires.
Oh, it is but no, Denzel.
Yeah, it's hard tires on for Denzel, I think. Kind of a weird decision for me. Obviously, he's gonna have to do 30 laps on those hards, which is it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be difficult at the end of the race. He's gonna be fluctuating on the puncture window there. But if he can manage, I guess that's the strategy for him to capitalize on what's going on ahead of him. Obviously, it's a safety car. Maybe the restart is going to get messy. Maybe it's going to be Denzel's chance to advance a few positions. Somebody has been advancing a few positions. It's Okram, obviously from P8 to P3. Amazing race start for him. Just kept making move after move after move, and it's paid off for him. As now Lrc is within arm's reach of him, and also within arm's reach of Shadow. Who is eager to get that position on Lrc, I think, because of the carnage of lap 1. I think that allowed Lrc to get away from the pack. But now, once the safety cars come out, I think we're going to see Shadow alongside Lrc going into turn 1. If he doesn't get surprised on the restart, and I'd see no reason why he would be. I think Shadow has great pace, and I think he's a very aware driver. So yeah, I think it's all to play for the race win still. Lamaya's kind of running away with it in the first 3 laps, but well, it's a great now it's a chance for the top 3 to get Lamayas and overtake him.
Yep, it will be very interesting once this one gets underway. Of course, Lamau on those hard tyres will be a little bit vulnerable at the start. The hards do take longer to warm up, but yeah, we'll see if he's able to do exactly what he did at the restart, where he seems to make the hard tyre disadvantage mean, well, amount to nothing really, by just driving away from the field on that first lap, and he'll be looking to do the same again. Of course, he does have quite a lot of experience in doing race restarts. He's very often finds himself in that lead position, so I don't think he'll be don't think there'll be too many surprises for him. We'll have to see though once we get underway, and yeah, it's been a good start for some drivers and a pretty terrible start for others. Blundy, another one of those drivers, of course, involved in that collision with Igsy, dropping down from 10th down to 19th. Big shame for him. He's made the pit stop onto a set of soft tyres, so we'll have to see what kind of strategy he goes for from there. But yeah, Grim Reaper and Denzel, well, Denzel most notably, pitting, like you say, onto those hard tyres, and I'm assuming he's going to try and go to the end and perhaps try and replicate the strategy that I used in Tier 2 the other day, which was able to get me the race win in the end. So we'll see how it turns out for Denzel. Might not be over yet, and it could end up being a very successful strategy, or could end up with him with a puncture in the wall in the final few laps of the race. So we'll see. But the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap then, and you can see Lamau now looking to start bunching up the field already then, as I think Afari just picked up a penalty actually. So Afari making a collision under the safety car and picks up a penalty. Of course, the penalty system not entirely to be trusted with the overlay here. It's proven itself to be a little faulty at times, but we get ready to get the race restarted here then. It's a matter of when will Lamau now put down the throttle. Still coasting out of the final corner here, and just wait for him to go, and there he goes now, and the whole field accelerates with him, and Okram got a really good start there. I think in fact Okram had been passed by Afari, but he's immediately gotten passed on the restart there, and Afari might lose another place here to Maxcon going up the inside of turn 1. They somehow keep it clean there. There was a little bit of contact, and oversteer for Maxcon means he's going to have to give that position back up as the swarm of cars approaches turn 3, and I think Loris got spun round. He did. Loris got spun round, and then another spin. That was Smully going round right in front of the pack in the Williams there, and gets collected and taken out of the race. It's what we so often see of cautions breed cautions, as well, the Ferrari just has to back off the track there of Cooper, and Cooper taken out in that one as well. It doesn't look like it's another safety car, still only just a yellow flag, and yeah, no, we are staying under green flag conditions here, surprisingly enough, and Lamau still holds the lead. Oh, big spin! Slide and a spin for the Mercedes of Shadow. That's a huge shame for him. He was running so well in this race, and another mistake for him. He's going to drop right to the back of the field now to try and rejoin the order, and it was just a huge slide of oversteer there, presumably on the cold tyres, and that has really costed him in this race, and he's retired now. I wonder if has he made a collision? I'm not sure what's happened, but Shadow out of the race, and that means the virtual safety car straight back out then. What on earth happened there?
It's a chaotic restart. We saw the Williams spin round. Smully made contact with Cooper. Or the other way around, actually. Cooper made contact with Smully, who was right on the racing line as he spun out of turn 4, and obviously Shadow, so gut-wrenching for Shadow, he spun out of the tricky traction zone, and it's a full safety car now. Obviously, as we see, a lot of crashes. Shadow out, Smully out, and a lot of guys missing their front wing. Obviously, Loris spun as well, and Loris picked up a drive-through under safety car conditions. Maybe he was exceeding the delta. Yeah, not the kind of restart that you want to see, but it's a perfect restart for Okram, who's moved up right alongside Lamar, yes. And there's now a lot of people replacing their front wings, 4 people to be exact. It's Denzel, Jarman, Lugi, and Cooper, all of them. And so Laura's also going into the pits, and I think Blendy was in there momentarily. So yeah, quite a chaotic restart. I mean, I'm familiar with restarts in Portugal, but I haven't seen one quite like this one. So yeah, hopefully the next one's going to be a bit better.
Yeah, 19 cars and cold tyres was always going to be a little bit of a recipe for disaster, and I think the way in which Lamau backed up the pack quite aggressively there just meant that everybody was, well, so close together you could throw a blanket over them when we got the race underway, and that just meant, well, it was a little bit too close, to be honest. It was basically like another race start there, and yeah, that resulted in quite a few accidents. First of them being for Loris, like you say, spinning on the inside of turn 3. It was quite a strange looking one for us. We didn't really get to see in particularly much detail what happened to him, so we'll have to wait and see maybe after the race if we can get a replay from him. But the bad luck does unfortunately continue for Lrc, because picking up a drive-through penalty once again, so it's not at all ideal for him. He'll have to serve that within 3 laps of the safety car coming in, whenever it does. But yeah, then the incident straight after for Smolly, which is a huge shame for him. He was running really well in this race. It was looking like it was going to be his best race of the season by far, and unfortunately just losing the back end, it looked like, through turn 4. Very, very easy to do, and yeah, right in front of the whole field. It was never going to win particularly well, with it being a blind corner, and yeah, collected there, and a lot of drivers picking up the damage, and that's why you saw so many people in the pits. And then Shadow, well, that's just so unfortunate for him to lose it the way he did, and then we didn't even get to see what happened that took him out of the race, but I would presume something to do with, I'd imagine, the hot tyres after the spin, and just, yeah, very unfortunate one for him.
Yeah, you don't want to see that from Shadow. He was looking likely to get the race lead. He was right on Lamar, yes. It was looking likely to make a move on him. He's kind of matching his pace on the hard tires, but unfortunately, he lost the rear, and that's the price you pay for not putting the throttle down carefully enough, because it's quite hard to do so in these cars. As yeah, Lamar, yes, is still in the lead with the fastest lap, and now it's Akram's turn to try the move on him, as Lamar, yes, knows what this move is going to cost him. It could cost him the championship lead for now, but I think he knows that already by this point, and I think he's going to defend. I think he's going to put up one hell of a defense from Akram, because the championship at stake is nothing to joke about at this point, as Akram looks very likely to take over the lead at some point. So why not do it now?
Yep. And those medium tyres will be giving him the advantage that he needs for that. And I will say, I was a little bit surprised not to see anybody coming into the pits under the safety car. The first one was a little bit early, admittedly, but this one might have been in the right window. And oh, the safety car, very late call there to come in this lap. So that was, yeah, might have caught the drivers a little bit off guard there. They're not going to have much time to get any last-ditch heat into the tyres. So Lamau is going to have to think on his feet here on the restart here. And when will he put that throttle down? Leads them away, and now he goes as they cross the line, who left it very late there, and understandably so, and that means that Maxcon in the Haas is going to get a really good run on the Williams of Akram as they head towards turn 1, but he's going to be sensible and back out of that one as Afari gets up the inside and spins out Maxcon. There was contact between the two of them, and another spin on the start for another one of the Hasses. Huge shame for both of them there getting taken out, and oh, contact there as Afari again. German sweeps up the order, and chaos resumes once again just like it did on the first restart, and oh, there's another accident. Both the Alpha Tauris taken out now. On the exit of turn 4, it's just chaos once again through that corner. It's so hard to get through there at the best of times, even when you're not 3 wide, but 3 wide they were, and it's ended badly once again.
Afari, I think Afari was caught up in that mess. Afari has left the session, understandably probably angry about the contact that was made. I think it wasn't caused by him, so I think the nerves got to him. As now Akram is looking for the race lead here, but that was another chaotic restart. As now I Like Trains is now 10th, Maxcon is now 12th. So very likely the race win just lost for both of those drivers. As now Akram is going to try for the move.
He's going to get a switchback here. He got a really good exit out of Sagres and into the final corner there. He's quite sensibly backs out of that one. He's going to make the make use of the advantage that the slipstream is going to give him all the way down the straight here. So we're going to ride on board. Will he be quicker than Lamau in a straight line? And well, almost unsurprisingly, no. Lamau known for his very low downforce setups, and that is going to help him massively there to hold on to the lead through the first sector of the lap. And Akram is probably going to have to try and make a bit of an unorthodox move work somewhere in the corners. Meanwhile, further behind, everybody's still all bunched up and very close together. Of course, no sign of any safety cars this time. Everybody's still in the race, thankfully, albeit a few drivers picking up damage. Lrc back in the pits once again, along with perhaps, that's big shame for both of them, and Maxcon getting taken out as well. Meanwhile, a move up the inside from I Like Trains, trying to make up some positions after contact on the restart there, and he is going to get that move done and get up back into P8 there. So not too many places lost for him, and he'll be looking to continue making progress up the order with the pace that we know he has.
You hate to see that both AlphaTauri is also down in the bottom 5 of the grid now. as we see that great move. Oh, now side by side, I think the Haas just swept around the outside of Kimi. That was a very good move from Maxcon. I didn't expect to see that, but yeah, on the tire, well, Maxcon very fast. He's not. I think he doesn't belong in the bottom. In the bottom of the top 10, I think Maxcon is going to show his pace. I think he's going to overtake the field if he has to. As now Okram is going to try for the move on Le Mans. Yes, I think DRS is on this lap, so let's see if he can do it.
Yeah, he's going to get us his first chance with the DRS going into turn 5 this time, so we'll see if he can keep it close and clean through the first few corners here. If he can get a good exit out of here, then he might be able to try and make a move, but no, that's not a good exit at all! Commentator's curse again, can't believe that. And Okram spins out. That's a huge championship implications, no damage for him luckily, but he has got a big old recovery drive on now, because he is dropping down the order and drops all the way to P12, and it's going to have hot tyres to go with that as well. And Okram spinning out from second place there. The second I say he needs to get a good exit. I can't believe I keep doing this, so I'm so sorry to him for that. But he has now got there's a lot of elevation change on this track, but he has got a mountain to climb if he wants to make those places back. And it looks like he's already going to be trying to get to work on that one, and the sooner the better for him, because he has got a whole load of places to make up now. But the fighting still continues on further up the field. This train of cars stretching from Luigi up in 5th place, doing really well at the moment. They've been able to capitalise on all of the chaos on the restarts, and he is already coming under quite a bit of pressure from German. In fact, he's on the back of Bablo, who is doing even better up in 4th place in the Alfa Romeo, so big shout out to him. Hopefully he's able to have a cleaner race than he did last week, as unfortunately spun out from a good place last week. But yeah, we'll see what he can do from there, as we have a very mixed up order now in this race.
Germanbeat is now looking pretty good in P2, as Frosty is on his heels though. Obviously has the 3-second time penalty, which isn't going to help him at all. But Frosty I think he's going to try it with the DRS into turn 5. I think he's going to be late on the brakes. Never mind. He's trailing back just a touch.
Moves going on behind us. There was Red Bull going off the track, and then the Mercedes now with I Like Trains trying to get up the inside of German. They almost bang tyres there. They go very close to each other, Mercedes versus Red Bull, and into turn 7 the Mercedes of I Like Trains swoops around the outside. Really nice move by him, and German quite sensibly backs out of that one. Clean racing between the two of them. Meanwhile, more racing going on behind. It's Maxcon looking to make up more places, gets taken right to the outside by the Ferrari, and he's going to try and get back up the inside now. He's wheel to wheel with Cooper, and Cooper makes it work around the outside. Really nicely done by him. Is it going to be a dive up the inside? It is going to be a dive up the inside. Maxcon not giving this one up, but I think he's going to settle in behind and take the DRS and see if he can make a move work on the straight.
Yeah, that was reminiscent of Austria coming out of turn 7 and 8. I think cars just scrapping for any position they can see, going for any gap they can see, and now Bablo's going to be very vulnerable for a move here. Here comes the Alpine.
And Luigi gets the move done there quite easily with the DRS, probably running a little bit lower wings, and Bablo gets a huge amount of understeer through turn 1. Not sure if you might have clipped the yellow curb on the inside, but yeah, that's not helped him at all, and that does mean that Luigi now is probably going to be able to scamper away into the distance. Of course, Bablo on the hard tyres, important to remember that one, so he will have a bit of a pace disadvantage to all of those around him, and I Like Trains will be the next in line to try and make up another position. We know he's got good pace in this race, and he'll be looking to show that again. Meanwhile, Germanbeat still holding on from Frosty for the time being. As Lamano spun! I think Lamano's just spun! The race leader, where is he? We can't even see him. There he is! And Lamano has, on the exit of turn 8, fallen victim to that corner that seems to catch everybody out. And Lamano, very uncharacteristic mistake, not nearly as costly as Okram's, it only drops down to 3rd place, but that hands over the race lead now to Germanbeat, which is going to make this battle even more important for him to try and hold on from Frosty behind.
But I think Germanbeat's pace is going to be crucial for Le Mans, yes, to get those positions back. But here he is. Here's Lugi trying to capitalize on Le Mans. Yes, it's a mistake. His hot tires are not going to help him at all. Lugi flicks open the DRS, and I think he's going to have that move done by
It's
turn
gonna be
1, and here
close.
comes Frosty also for the lead of the race. Here comes
Right.
Lugi, not quite.
Trains
not
is going to
quite.
be the only one making the
Oh,
move.
he's
Oh, he
Kamala.
goes gets some understeer there, and both of them get taken wide off the track at turn 1. And Bablo's going to dive it back up the inside. Very aggressive move by him, and nicely done. They're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 4, keeping it clean there. And Bablo on the outside makes it work. Meanwhile, the Ferrari of Cooper gets a big snap of oversteer there, controls it really well, but loses the position in doing so. And that position is going to go away to Maxcon now, who's finally able to get past, and Jarmin actually able to get past the Mercedes of I Like Trains as well.
Yeah, the traction zones of Portimão are working their magic today, as we've seen a lot of important spins basically from the top of the field. There's Lamar, yes, Shadow. We saw Smolly also out, making a big influence on the race. We saw I Like Trains get influenced, and yeah, it's costly mistakes here. Here in Portimão, if you don't put the throttle down carefully enough, you're gonna end up like one of those drivers. And look at that! It's almost 9
And Cooper
cars
fighting back against Maxcon, and fighting quite aggressively there. Maxcon got a little bit of understeer into the final proper corner and gets some oversteer there on the exit now, and that is going to leave him very vulnerable to the Williams of Ocram, who's going to sail around the outside. And well, a Haas of Maxcon dives for the pits there, probably quite sensibly. Those tyres didn't seem to be doing him any favours there, as now the first of the pit stops do come in, and German Beat still able to just about hold the lead from the Ferrari of Frosty behind, but this is very close now, a lot closer than it has been, and I think Frosty is surely going to try and go for the move here in towards turn 5, but no, interestingly holds on in behind German Beat. Wonder if he's just trying to save the tyres. He is on hard compared to German Beat on the medium, so we'll see what might be some kind of strategy game going on here. Meanwhile, Jarmin makes the move on Bablo there, or it might have been Bablo just trying to fight it back, I'm not too sure to be honest, but yeah, Bablo have been very aggressive in this race so far, but good to see because it has been mostly clean, and yeah, a lot of good racing from the drivers here today.
Yeah, and I think Frosty's way of racing, I think that's the way to go. Frosty keeps it very, very safe. He doesn't go for the move when he sees one. He keeps it behind, and I think his motto is slow and steady wins the race. Obviously, I think he's got the tire advantage because German Beat's gonna pit, and I think he's gonna all he needs is drive some clean laps. So he knows German Beat should be probably coming in this lap for his tires. And I think he's in no rush to make that move because obviously, look at that. He has the straight, a full straight of the RS, and I think he's going to make that move soon enough.
No, German
Beat. He's going for it just right now.
German Beat blocks the inside there, with a little bit of a late move, but just about legal there. And coming under pressure now from Lamauno, so he's going to have to make that move, Frosty, isn't he? Because he's got the McLaren of Lamauno right onto the back of him. He's just sort of crept up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden this has become a three-way battle for the lead now. And I would imagine Lamauno is going to be a lot more eager to make up the places, and a mistake there from the Ferrari of Frosty, and that's going to invite Lamau to try and make a move up the inside now, and he is going to make that move. There was a little bit of a struggle on the exit there from the Ferrari. Frosty just struggling, going late on the brakes into turn 5. Wonder if his tyres might be starting to go already, and that is going to invite Lamauno straight back up into second place now to try and chase after German Beat himself.
And effectively into the race lead, as German Beat has a 3-second time penalty. If he manages to climb up into that top spot again, German Beat has to rely on his pace to get 3 seconds of out of Lamauno, which is a task that's easier said than done.
Yeah, on that one, the timing screens aren't unfortunately entirely accurate, so it sort of we'll find out after the race if that penalty is for German Beat is real or not. We had some false penalties going on in the previous few races, so we'll see. German Beat, will he pit this lap? No, stays out for another lap, and that means that he is going to be on pretty fresh tyres actually when it does come to the end of the race, and I wonder, could he be trying to go to a set of softs? I feel like that's surely going to be too bold for him.
That's way too bold. I think that's a bit too risky to attempt.
In a battle here, and the Alpha Tauri of Grim Reaper is going to get involved as well. He sends it up the inside. I think might have made a little bit of contact there with Cooper, and yeah, he's sort of forced his way through, and Cooper gets hit and spun round through turn 4. It's the tiniest bit of a tap. Yeah, turn 4 again claims another victim in this race, and it was the tiniest little tap from Bablo, and just, well, any kind of unsettlement through that corner is just going to send you right around for a loop, and it's done exactly that here for Cooper. Big shame for him, another spin for him. Not ideal, and I think Fari making a move. I think they might have just been on the pit XM, not too sure. But yeah, more collisions continue in this race, and meanwhile Lamauno closing up. Well, He looked like he was closing up. The timing screen's perhaps not entirely accurate there, but yeah, German Beat doing very well in this race so far, you've got to say.
Yeah, very good from German Beat. Avoided all the chaos that was he was basically in the middle of. He drove left and right through all the carnage, and look at that, ended up on the top spot. And I'm wondering, is he gonna go into the pits
Yes, he will.
this lap? Yes, he will. Onto the hard tires, I presume. Those softs are gonna only last you 10 laps, so it would be pretty bold. But he would have to stretch that stint another 5 laps, which is pretty risky. But yeah, on the hard tires, I think that's a safe choice, and I don't think he's going to play any big wild cards here in this race. And I think he can play it pretty safe. Yeah, he's on the hards now, and he's going to hope to undercut Lamano and Frosty together. And
battle, perhaps.
Here they go.
Yeah, Lrc and Denzel getting very close together there, and that was Lrc making the move on Denzel, so nicely done by him, getting back up into the points in this race, and another battle going on behind between Afari and I Like Trains. Afari getting the move done, the Mercedes driver, and well, there, right up behind that is Okram versus Maxcon in the Haas, so a lot of battles going on, which is for net in this race, quite high positions, but at the moment, all of these drivers outside of the top 10, so we'll see what actual positions they shake out in once the pit stops happen, as Okram dives it up the inside here on the German driver, but they're going to go side by side, and Okram doesn't get a very good exit there, and that means that Maxcon is going to be able to hold on to the position for the time being as they head back into the middle sector, so it's going to have to be some kind of a bold move from Okram as he clouts the curb on the inside. That's going to lose him a bit of time there. Can't really put the throttle down if you do that, and that means that if he was going to try a bold move into Portimão, which you do sometimes see some drivers doing, he's not going to be able to do that, well, not this lap at least.
Okram doesn't have enough ERS. You can see that rear light blinking, and I think that's going to inconvenience him if he's going to go for any moves. Here comes Pablo into the pits. Once P4, now into P6. Still a lot of positions a lot of points to claim for Pablo, and I think he could be a contender in the top 5. But yeah, Frosty driving a safe race. So is Lamar, yes. Obviously, after that spin, he's done a great recovery. He's back into P1 as Pablo replaces his wing.
Yeah.
And now he's coming out of the pits into P15. I think that wing change might have been unplanned. Yeah. I think the game decided that for him. But yeah, I mean, with the wing, he could be even faster than he already was. And I think Pablo trying his hand at the other undercuts. I think he could succeed and gain some positions here.
Yeah, we'll see how that one works out for him. I think, like you say, he might not have been intending for that wing change there. Seemed like his pace was pretty good already, so a little bit unfortunate for him there as Maxcon picks up, well, we believe a penalty. He was definitely off the track there, so that'll be a warning at least for him. Whether it is actually a penalty or not, we'll have to wait and see until after the race, but it's only going to be promised in for Okram behind us. The leaders come into the pits now, both Frosty and Lamau, and Frosty's actually gotten ahead of Lamau. So where did that happen?
Oh, wow.
Was that on the pit entry? That would be very bold if it was, because I didn't see those two. They weren't really close enough together to be having any kind of battle, so unless Lamau might have made a mistake right before, I wonder if he's just been Sebastian Vettel by Frosty in the Ferrari there.
I mentioned time earlier. It's happened once again.
And they're going to come out right behind the McLaren of Denzel here, but looks like he's just about going to get through, so no issues there. But look who's right behind them now. German Beat, he's not been able to make the undercut work, sorry, but he is going to have very warm tyres compared to the freezing cold ones of the cars ahead, and he might be able to look to make use of that here as they head towards turn 5 now. Is German Beat going to trade up the inside? No, not going to go for the move on Lamau, no, but he might be seen as race win slip away here if he doesn't make something work quickly, because those medium tyres through sector 2 will really start to heat up, and that could be German Beat's chance to take some kind of win in this race if he is challenging for that, slipping away. So we'll see, is he able to make a move now? It's going to have to be quite a bold one if he does. German Beat in the slipstream, he's going to go for it on the inside. This is the dive we talked about into Portimão, and German Beat on the inside of Lamau. No, it's the championship leader versus German Beat here. They go wheel to wheel into turn 13 now. German Beat still keeping it side side by side. So he goes round the outside, he'll get the inside for Sagres now, the penultimate corner, and will German Beat be able to get the move done? They're still wheel to wheel. Lamano trying to make it work around the outside there, and he might just be able to do it, but surely German Beat with the inside of the final corner. Yes, he will finally get that move finished off. But, yeah, the straight line speed of Lamau, yes, and the DRS just means he will breeze straight back past, and German Beat now might just be out of contention for this race win of that one without any more mistakes from the drivers ahead of him. But with that said, we have seen plenty of those already in this race, so it's far from over yet.
Good battle put out by German Beat. I wouldn't have expected him to go down the inside into those corners, and here comes Frostia on Denzel.
And gets the move done nicely. That clean move.
Denzel doesn't have the better exit, as Lamar, yes, is gonna offer his teammate some help against the Ferrari. As I think there could be some team orders involved. I think Denzel could let Lamar, yes, past, but that's up for him to decide.
There it is.
Yeah, Ferrari got some overs.
Denzel
there you go.
Well, it looked like he was going to try and let them out through. If he was, he's made a little bit of a meal of it because he might come under pressure from the Aston Martin driver behind him with German Beat, but no, he's done it quite nicely. So I spoke a little bit too soon on that one. I think he was just trying to find a way of letting his teammate through without losing the position, so he has managed to do that. But now German Beat coming under a lot of pressure from a Ferrari and behind him, and a Ferrari on the medium tyres versus German Beat's hards. I would imagine he is going to be looking to get that move done and probably get it done as soon as possible now.
Lars in the box,
and
as we see Grim.
Here goes German Beat. He's going to be trying the move first on Denzel, though. He's going to try and go round the outside, go the long way round on the... Well, he went off the track there, but I think he was already ahead. Doesn't seem to be giving it back. And a move up the inside. Big dive bomb there from a Ferrari. That was a really nice move. He saw German Beat started to get away from him there, and he said, no, sunshine, I'm not having that. Not letting you get away. And, yeah, nicely done there with a big dive bomb from a Ferrari, and he's going to be straight onto the back of German Beat now and trying to make a challenge for what we believe will be net P3 in this race.
Yeah, it could be, and we see a lot of drivers haven't pitted yet. Grim in P2 kind of surprises me, as he's still on the hard he started the race with. I think Grim could be going on the soft tires for all that I know, but we're gonna see how that turns out. It's gonna be quite risky. It's gonna be very aggressive if he does that. But yeah, Lamayes effectively in the race lead.
Safety car. I'm not sure who that's for. Well, it doesn't look like there's been... Well, they said there was a yellow flag in Sector 3 for a second, but safety car comes out, and, well, is anybody going to die for the pits? Yes, it's going to be Cooper.
That's going to help.
Cooper's going to get a lot of help there with that one. He'll get a free pit stop here, but I don't think it's going to change too much, to be honest, but it is going to mean that the drivers who did stay out, and Afari comes into the pits as well. So Afari, I think he's going to try and go for a set of soft tyres to the end now, but the drivers, all the drivers in the top three who weren't able to pit might get a little bit screwed over by this one, so that's really unfortunate for them, because they're going to be bunched up by the time they get around, are they? Well, actually they didn't pick up the safety car, so it might not be all over just yet for them. We'll have to wait and see. I'd imagine they will come in at the end of this lap, and we'll just have to see how the Delta time treats them, to be honest, as Okram, I think Okram stayed out. He did stay out, so we're going to have a split of strategies here for the end of this race. Safety car restart is going to make things very interesting here, as we'll try and take a look at what tyres everybody's on and how long they've been on them for. You can see Grim Reaper 22 laps on those hard tyres. Surely, I would imagine, I think all of the top three are going to be coming to the pits at the end of this lap, and I think, because they've not caught the safety car yet, I think they might just be okay. If they've been able to maximise their delta time, then the top three might actually be able to gain some positions from this, really. So, might not be over just yet. This could be very interesting how it shakes out, and it could be Luigi, in fact, to lead in the way. We'll have to see. Pulse into the pits now, no surprises there. Everybody's going to follow him in for the top three, but a penalty for Grim Reaper. I wonder if he's sped in the pit lane there, and that will be not a 3 seconds, but a 5-second penalty if he did. So that could be a big one for him. Of course, on the safety car restart, everybody's going to be bunched up, so 5 seconds might seriously cost him at the end of the race.
Stop and go, Luigi.
Yeah, serving a 5 second penalty, so he's going to lose time as well. Is he going to be able to? Well, where's he going to come out now? It looks like, yeah, behind both
Grim in
drivers.
P1.
And Grim is going to be. Is he going to be P1? No, the Ferrari of Frosty is going to go
Oh, so
through.
close.
Lamau is going
Very
to get
close.
through as well. Is he going to be forced to give that back? No, so it will be P3 for Grim. But still, that has worked out really nicely for him because he's now third place on a set of soft tyres, but with a 5 second penalty. So this one is going to be really interesting for the last few laps of the race.
Yeah, I mean, without that stop and go, I think Luigi could have been also in P5, or actually in P4. But unlucky for him, I think he sped into the pits, got that 5 seconds, and had to serve them immediately, which is quite unlucky for him. But I think Grim did get a 3 second time penalty because of how. Basically, from what I know, I think if you speed into the pits if your speed is very quick compared to the normal pit speed, I think you get the 5 seconds. But if it's very close between the two between the speed of your car and the speed of the pit lane, I think you get a reduced 3 second time penalty, which is why Grim didn't have to serve that stop and go like Luigi did.
Well, I think,
but
unfortunately, I think if as far as I can remember, if you do get a penalty for speeding in the pits, then you can't serve it straight away. And from my knowledge, at least, it's only ever been 5 second penalties. I remember in Jeddah last season, I sped into the pits by 1 mile an hour and got a 5 second time penalty. So, well, yeah, I'm not convinced on that one, but we'll see after the race if you are correct on that one. So,
I mean,
apologies if they are.
it doesn't even show that Grim has any time penalties.
Yeah, like I say, you have to just you really have to take the graphics with not a pinch of salt, maybe a handful of salt. They're not entirely very accurate, so apologies for that one, but we'll get the confirmed order once they do cross the line. And yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting one here, because look at the mix of tyre compounds and the mix of age of those tyre compounds as well. It's mediums for the top two, and then softs for Grim, fresh softs for Grim in third place. German on some slightly worn hards, he might struggle a little bit on the restart here. Jarmin in behind him in fifth on the soft tyres, also fresh, so he could be in a really strong position in this race. I like in also another driver on even older hards in 10th place, and he'd actually disconnected from the session a minute ago, so hopefully he's able to get back in. And Luigi behind him on the mediums, fresh mediums, then Okram on worn hards, Cooper on fresh mediums, Afari on fresh mediums, Denzel on fresh softs, Maxcon fresh mediums, and then everyone behind that on fresh softs. So massive mix of strategies here once the race gets underway, and that is going to make things really interesting here to see who is going to have the pace, who's not, who's going to be able to get the heat into the tyres. And yeah, it should be a really interesting last, I'd imagine, 7 or so laps of this race.
I mean, Grim is going to be deathly fast on those soft tires. I think he's going to be an immovable, basically an unstoppable force. Because I mean, those softs this late on in the race, they're gonna prove to be everything. And my guess would be he's gonna be in P2. I think he's gonna be right alongside Lamar. Yes, but we've seen the restarts do many curveballs on us, and I think it could be more of the same. I think it could be with a bit of chaos in the mix as well. But that's just gonna let some drivers capitalize on the mistakes of the top.
Yeah, we'll see if the safety car does make another late call to come in. I think it's going to be another lap, because the back of the field, well, Lrc specifically hasn't caught up yet, so yeah, it will be one more lap of safety car conditions here. That is going to mean it's effectively just going to be a sprint to the finish. It will be, lap 28 to lap 33, so what's that, 6 full laps of racing for the drivers to try and make as many positions as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more accidents, more overtakes, and just generally a lot more chaos yet to come once we do get things underway. But yeah, wait for Lrc to try and make his way onto the back of the pack. You can see he's pretty close now, so we'll be underway at the end of this one as the drivers get ready to make one final rotation of the track under these conditions, get the tyres prepared, try and get as much heat into them as possible. Lrc might have a little bit of an advantage here because, of course, he's been basically razzing it around the track for the past couple of laps, so he should have a little bit more heat in his tyres once it does get underway. And, well, can't really get any worse for Lrc from here, so we'll see if he's able to make any kind of improvements on that P17 position, and I would imagine he will be able to do just that, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's been anything but straightforward here in Portugal. We've gone through about 6 different race winners. that could have been. We've gone through Igzig's Shadow, we've gone through MaxCon, we've gone through Frosty, we've gone through German Beat, and I think it's going to be settling down, and I think it's going to be basically the top 5 is going to be effectively fighting until the finish. It's going to be a sprint race. It's going to be like a 5-lap race till the end. Basically, it's lap 33, and the safety car is in this lap. So Frosty has to pay attention to his tires, has to pay attention to Lamias behind him, and once he's clear of him, I think he's going to be driving and not looking back.
And a little bit of position changes down the order there as everybody gets a little bit checked up there by Frosty backing up the field, but it is his right to do so, and we'll have to see when everything does get underway as everybody tries to sort themselves out. Hopefully nobody picks up any penalties at the back. But here we go then. This is the fight for the race win here in Portimão for round 3, and when will Frosty put the power down? It's now. He goes quite early there, and I think that's been a pretty good restart for him. Yes, it has. He's been able to catch Lamano a little bit unawares there, but of course that straight line speed advantage could work out really nicely for him as everybody gets going down into turn 1. You can see big battles going on in the background there, side by side already. That's the Alfa Romeo of, I believe that might be Babler, sorry, no, that's Blundy, going for a move on the inside of Cooper there, and Cooper gets forced off the track and loses a few positions there, but it looks like everybody keeping it fairly clean on the restart here, so maybe they've been able to keep some more tyre temperatures in this time. That's good to see. As Cooper with a late tyre bomb there. I think he was just a little late on the brakes, and no, a spin! Is that for a Fari? It is for a Fari. So a Fari, one of our main challengers potentially in this race, has just dropped completely out of it, drops the back end, and he is now down to the back of the field. Meanwhile, well, I thought they were side by side for a second there, but no, it's everything stays fairly normal up at the front of the field, but the gap already very close between Grim Reaper and Lamano, and gap even closer here between Okram and I Like Trains for P7. Okram gets a little bit checked up though, and now there might be a move coming in from the Haas of Maxcon, trying to dive it up the inside of Blundy into turn 13. Indeed he will do that, and they're going to go side by side through turn 14 now, and presumably down the street as well.
Yeah, like I said, once again, reminiscent of Austria. It's about 5 cars scrapping for a gap that that's just gonna. There you go. You can see Okram just passed the Mercedes there of Lilac Trains, as I think the battle for P2 is also heating up. As Grim is right on the heels. So here comes the Alfa.
Here goes Jarman versus German Beat here into the first corner. No good from that move for German Beat at least. Oh, sorry, for Jarman at least. German Beat stays ahead, and the side by side again here. It's Blundy versus and contact there, and Blundy gets spun out across the gravel, and that is with Maxcon there. So Maxcon again in this race getting taken out. That's really unfortunate for him, and he's just going to get stuck in the gravel and sent right back down to the back of the field. That's a huge shame for him. He's not going to be able to get points in this race now, but the battles continue up the field. So Grim Reaper still closing into Lamau now, getting very close now as they head into the final sector, and another battle going on for P4 behind it. Is Grim going to be close enough for a move? Doesn't look like it just yet. Will Jarman be able to try anything on German Beat? Doesn't look like he'll be able to do anything just yet either, but we're going to have DRS in I think a lap's time, and that is just going to make this fight even more interesting than it already is, as Frosty is doing, well, fairly good job at the moment to keep ahead of Lamau on the restart.
Yeah, I think DRS gets activated this lap, and I think Frosty is going to be kind of susceptible for a move here, as it's almost a second separating him and Lamias. It's a case of whether Lamias gets the DRS, and he does not. Oh no, the DRS is not on this lap. In this lap it's on, and I think into turn 5 it's going to be all cars.
Jarman's going for it again for P4 here. Goes up the inside, very reminiscent of last lap, but will he this time be able to make the move stick? They're going to go side by side into turn 3 this time, and Jarman with those soft tyres gets a good exit out of turn 3, but German going to try and keep his foot in on the inside. Really impressive fighting from him in this race, like we've already seen, but here comes the Alpine of Luigi trying to get involved now, and they're going to go 3 wide into turn 5. Surely that won't work. No, it doesn't. Luigi gets a little bit spun out there. Doesn't lose too much time, but he's going to lose a position to Okram, who's going to climb up into 6th place here, continues his recovery drive in this race, but here is the battle still brewing on between German Beat and Jarman, but Jarman finally, with those soft tyres, is able to make the move stick and get up into P4.
Lars left the session. I think he retired. I think there was some contact at the back of the field. I think Lars lost some positions.
Well, Lars still in P10 in the race, so I'm not sure what's happened to him there. I wonder if he's
the standings are just frozen. As you can see, the gaps are just frozen.
That's
well, I think the telemetry just
refreshed, but yeah, that's all right. I tell you what, we'll switch back to the normal graphics then for the last few laps of this one, because we need to know exactly what's happening here. And there is the real penalties then, because it is Frosty with a penalty at the front of the field. So Lamau, yes, that's why he hadn't been going for the move. He is now, all he has to do is keep it on the track limits for the last couple of laps here, and if he's able to do that and stay within the gap to Frosty ahead of him, then he surely is going to win this race, because Grim Reaper behind him also has a penalty. Meanwhile, battling going on down the order, I think Bablo might have just sorry, no, I think who was fighting there? Just well, no, doesn't look like anybody was fighting. The timing screen's just having a bit of a day off there. That was interesting, but yeah, looks like all is resuming as normal at the moment as the fight continues now for P4.
Yeah, the penalty for Frosty just reveals everything. Yeah, that's why Lamayan hasn't been going so fast. He's just been defending against Grim Reaper, and that's what he has to do to effectively get P1. As Jarman looks like a serious contender for P2.
Oh, the spin for perhaps on the exit of turn 8. That is well, it's only cost him one position, but he will not be happy with that one. I'd imagine he might become vulnerable to Luigi behind now. And Luigi, well, I think something must have happened to Luigi, because he has dropped down to P11 now. He was challenging for P4 this time last lap, and well, I guess while the timing screens were frozen, he must have made a mistake somewhere. Well, that's a big shame for him, because he was doing really well in this race.
Yeah, but it's not done yet, as Luigi is trying for a move.
Somebody else who's going for the move. Here's the move for the lead of the race. Lamau, no, into turn 1. He didn't need to do it, but he gets it done anyway. So even if he gets the penalty now, he will have the track position. And that might just be race win sealed and done for our championship leader. Meanwhile, his main rival, Okram, only down in 6th. And he does, well, he's going to have a little bit of a challenge to try and improve on that, because he is on very worn out hard tyres with only, well, 2 laps to go in this race. And Afari trying to make some moves as well, still out of the points after that spin on the restart, but he's getting closer now. He's into P12, but I think with there being such little time to go in the race, it might be quite a tall order for him to try and get himself back into the points here.
Yeah, so Jarman looks efficiently. Jarman's going to get P2.
Oh, was that spin for Germanby? It was! Spin for Germanby out of turn 8. A huge shame for him. That's so disappointing. He's been doing so well in this race. He barely even made a mistake. He was one of the only drivers not to. And right at the end of the race, on the penultimate lap, Germanby with a spin there. That's you've got to feel for him. That's really unfortunate, as he drops from 5th now down to 8th position. That's a big shame for him. And that is going to promote Okram now up into 5th place, and another free position for him, but I think he's just going to be outside of DRS range of Jarman, as Lamau sets the fastest lap of the race, and Frosty is going to try and hold on from Grim Reaper. We'll have to see if well, what the penalty situation's like between them. We know they both have penalties. I think well, we know that Grim should have a 5 seconds in theory, but we'll see what Frosty has as well. If he does only have 3 seconds, then you would expect he's probably not going to fight too hard, but there's another penalty for Grim Reaper, and I think that might just be the nail in the coffin for him, and he might end up, if he's not careful, losing a position to Jarman, and maybe even Okram behind him. I think Spinato might be having some connection issues, I'm not too sure. But yeah, on the final lap of the race here now, Okram is actually closing up to Jarman, so he might be able, Okram somehow might be able to sneak a podium from this race, which would be really impressive after that spin earlier on. It's going to be close between them. We'll keep an eye on that battle as Lamau makes his way into the final sector now for the last few corners of this race. I Like Train still fighting it out further down the order for P15, just fighting it out for the wooden spoon there, but it will be, well, is Okram going to be able to make the move yet? It doesn't look like he's going to do it just yet, but it will be his title rival, Lamau, who has driven an impressively clean race here, only one mistake, and that means that through the final corner now, Lamau, yes, is going to climb across the rise and will take the win here in Portugal of round 3. Frosty holds on to P2, and who's going to get P3? They might be side by side over the line yet here, and they will, and it means that Okram's going to get 3rd, but Jarman takes 2nd. So both of the other 2 drivers on the podium getting demoted from the penalties. Kimmy will take P6, Jarmanby gets back up into 7th, so that's some consolation for him at least. Bablo drops down to 8th, at least scoring his first points, and drops to 9th actually, because Afari jumps up to 8th now instead with the penalties applied, and so Afari does really well to get himself back into the points there, perhaps takes the final point Spain position of P10, and that brings a chaotic end to a very chaotic race there.
Yeah, it's the driver from Bahrain who takes the top spot once again here in Portugal.
Yeah, really good drive once again from Lamau, doing what he does best there. And yeah, we did see a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake from him in this race. with that spin out of turn 8 that caught up so many of the drivers, but it looks like, well, didn't phase him too much, clearly, because he is back on that top step once again. And Okram, fair play to him, he had that huge mistake at turn 4 that cost him so many places, but still able to recover back to a podium. That's really impressive drive by him. And shout out especially to Jarmin in the Red Bull, picking up that P2. That is really important for them as a team, and very impressive drive by him.